Chapter 6 Sword. As Elle made their way up the vine, they kept expecting to see the owner of the voice start to appear over the edge of the cave's exit. But to their surprise, no one's figure showed. They climbed closer and closer, and yet, nobody. Slightly out of breath, Elle took the last heave of the climb and made their way over the edge of the cliff. After looking around for a moment, there was no one. Elle was confused, frustrated, and the feeling of being alone started to sink in once more. They took a few steps around the cliff and looked around, but there was nobody.
Hey, I'm down here!
Elle whipped around with such speed, both startled yet thankful that the person had actually existed and wasn't just in their head. But again, there was nobody. Elle became frustrated. The tears started to come back when...
Down here! I said, look down!
Elle, confused of course, looked down and saw nothing. Some twigs, a few leaves, an ant.
Yes, good. Now that I have your
Elle frowned and took a few steps away, beginning to cry when suddenly they felt something bite them on the leg. They lifted up their right leg and took a look when there was a small ant hanging on tightly, but also waving.
I'm sorry I had to bite you, but you didn't seem to notice me. Allow me to introduce myself. The name's Anthena, but you can call me Auntie for short. Most do.
Elle continued to stare at the ant, half in disbelief and half very much surprised. They shook their head and looked around once more just to make sure that they weren't hallucinating. Surely an ant wasn't talking to them.
Look, I can tell you've never been in this neck of the woods before. Are you lost?
Elle nodded.
You certainly looked it when I saw you get washed up on the shore in the cave. You're lucky I saw you. How did you plan on getting out of there?
Elle shrugged and started to get teary-eyed, as usual.
If you need help getting home, I can help you. Lucky for you, I'm a very dependable familiar for the Ant Witch. I was just looking for some ingredients in the area when I heard you sniffle in the cave. Her house is just beyond those mountains, deep in the forest.
Anthea pointed towards the mountains. It seemed like such a far distance for a kid and an ant to travel, but Elle had no idea how to get home. Unless, why don't we just follow the river back, Elle thought.
Now I know what you're thinking,
Anthea interrupted.
Why don't we just follow the river back, right? Lucky for you, you came in through the river which goes through the cave, which is much safer than through the forest itself. Do you know how many monsters live in there? One time my cousin Antonio made the mistake of making a shortcut through those woods. Let's just say I haven't seen him since. Come on, let's get going. It's at least a 2-week trek.
Anthea climbed onto Elle's shoulder and they hopped down the rocks leading up to the cave. She took her compass out of her bag and checked the direction that would lead to Ant Witch's house, when suddenly there was a rustle in the bushes nearby. Anthea grasped the handle of her sword that was tightly bound to her abdomen and furrowed her brow.
Hey kid, you should probably hide behind that tree. Things are about to get ugly.
Hey everyone, I just wanted to say thank you for watching this Inktober series so far. I know a lot of you miss my regularly scheduled videos, but I promise they will be back in November. This is just a personal project that I wanted to tackle, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. Hang tight. November will be here before you know it. Bye!